Looking forward to it, Soph?
I sure
Or are
am.
you looking to
Finally
get out of
here
it?
on the Los Cut It podcast. It's an honor.
What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Los Cut It, and you're in the cut with today's guest. But first, let me introduce my co-host, Mr. Baby Horchata. What up, dude?
What up, do, baby? We are back, and as always, we got another banger for y'all. And as last episode, would you want to present our guest? Or?
I have to. I feel like I kind of have to.
You do.
I would let you do it,
No,
but man.
I want you to do it, my friend, because we talked about this moment since the beginning of this whole thing that we just doing right now, man. So go ahead.
All right, let's do it. Today's guest she needs no introduction. I spent the whole day with her. She kicked my ass. She taught me a few things. I learned a few things. And she is an iconic barber that's female. She is an icon in general. A great ball of energy. There's so much I can say about her, but we got an hour to talk about it. So let me introduce you guys all the way from LA, here in headquarters Chicago, in my In the Cut podcast, the one and only Sophie StayGold. What up, Soph?
What up, guys? It's crazy because I watched these episodes. Now I'm here. It's like,
How you
crazy.
feeling?
I feel good. I mean, after the crazy day we've had, I'm excited to just be here sitting.
Right? Why don't you tell us about what we did today? Because, I mean, I know you probably want to hold some of that for the suspense, but if you can't share anything for the viewers, what did we do today? What did you have us do today?
Today, we really tried to, let's just say, elevate what barbering represents online, right? We're trying to push the envelope a little bit and just, find ways to bring our industry even higher.
Nice. Yeah, it was fun. It was something that it is currently 9 p.m. and literally we met up at 8 a.m. It's been a 13-hour shift and we're still at it. We just sat down. We have a lot to talk about. And with that being said, Ruben did say from the very beginning of this podcast, you were definitely a name that I wanted to have. I feel like you inspire a lot of barbers and a lot of barbers that are females. You inspire people that, in general, that are just content creators. Your team alone is so wild, full of talent. Everyone's here. Everyone's tuning in. For the first time, I got to meet Val after all these years of just hearing about her, all these years. And finally meeting her in person, it was just like, oh, dude, she's so cool. Like, she was so dope. I can see why you talk the way you talk about her. And how does it feel bringing your personal team here to Chicago to share the day with us?
It's been pretty amazing, and it's just, I guess it's just like timing, right? We can't really plan how things work out. And when I started my videography journey, it was more so in her world, in dance, in shooting choreography. And that was like my way of actually jumping into it. And she was one of the people that pushed me, like threw me off the cliff and was like, no, you can handle it. And I was afraid. And it's just crazy now that we're doing more hair-focused projects, and now she's coming into my world and getting to do the same thing, but in a different way. So
Do you think she likes it?
I think she enjoys it.
Yeah?
Yeah, because it's something that she's used to me talking about. Like, I think what's funny is like my other best friend, Carrie, she knows how to spot a really bad fade from a distance because of being my friend for all these years. So it's just really crazy to see, the impact that we have even on people that don't do hair, that kind of are around it and can appreciate it and know how to like look for things that, could be better.
And that's dope, man. That's dope. I mean, Ruben, you don't do hair, but do you feel like being around us lately, you kind of got a better idea of what you're to look for?
Man. Bro, just being around you guys is just amazing. So it's like the barber community has welcomed me with open hands, and I don't do anything, right? Like, if anything, I know how to mess up a lineup. That's probably the best thing I could do on a cut. But like, just looking at how you do your cuts, because I come here to the headquarters and I see you cutting up. Everybody's technique is so unique to their own, right? Even from my barbers to even now, bro. I went back to an old barber and it wasn't the same, bro. When I started messing with these Chicagoans, these inner city barbers, and the way everything is done, the culture of it. Yeah, I've been learning some things, bro. Especially looking at Mr. Official's presentation yesterday. I was looking at his beard models and everything like that. The enhancements, and I was like, I can't wait to use that at the crib. So,
dude, I get what you mean. And speaking of yesterday's presentation, shout out to Babyliss. This episode is sponsored by Babyliss. As you can see, we're flowering the entire table with all our tools. Shout out to them for blessing us with the greatest tools. We had a pop-up class here in headquarters for free. We shared knowledge. We gave away clippers. We gave away free food, free drinks. It was a nice little vibe in here. How did you feel about yesterday's class, Sophie?
Dude, for not promoting it as much as we do, you maxed out at 100.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Right?
It was crazy. I do regret not promoting it because I feel like we should have promoted it. Imagine what would have happened if we did. Imagine if we would have had standing room only. How good that would have looked for the content.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I was nervous as hell. It maybe because it was in my hometown. Do you still get jitters when you go on stage? You've been doing it for a while?
I do. And you know what? It's weird is that it feels more nervous when you do it in your hometown.
Yeah.
Because people know you. People see you around town.
People judge you better. Boys.
Yeah. 'Cause you're like, damn, I really got to be good.
Now, let me ask you this, right? Have you done anything in LA to that level of like 100 people in your own hometown?
No. It's always been like kind of like small classes. Yeah.
Would you ever?
I would be down for the challenge. I think it makes me a little nervous. Like, I feel like when I do classes in other places, it feels more special because it's like you don't go there a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in your hometown, you're just like, damn, will people show up? You know,
Yeah,
it's
like,
just
who's
like always,
really gonna come see me?
Yeah.
That's how I felt. That I didn't want to promote it for the simple fact that I wanted to Babelist I wanted to give people an opportunity that were following Babelist. If I would have promoted it, we probably would have got a lot of local people, which isn't a problem. But I feel like the Babelist page had more of an outside reach, so it was cool because we had people flying in. How crazy is it? You offer a free class, and people book a flight and a hotel to come see you.
Right. And we asked somebody what was the furthest traveling. Somebody from Washington State. Yeah.
Which is above Cali, for those of
Yeah.
you guys that don't know. Far west.
Yes.
And this guy,
He spent
actually,
$1,500 is what.
that was his total budget. And we
Yeah.
gave him a clipper for that. So that's the least we could have done. I think it was dope. It was cool. I'm glad we got it out the way. But now let's get to why you're here, man. I got one thing that I've been doing, and I guess growing up, it was always, I wouldn't say hard. I just never did it a lot. I think a lot of pride was in me. But lately, what I've been noticing is that when I start giving people flowers, man, it not only doesn't make them feel better, it makes me feel good. And with you, I just wanted to give you your flowers, dude, because you're such a powerful force. You're one of my favorite people. And I say people, not barbers, because everything you do, everything about you, people love and I love. And you're such a cool person. I love hanging out with you. When we travel the world and get into these crazy situations, like we got each other's back. Even when it comes to talking to someone for too long, we know, hey, Lowe's, come save me.
Yeah.
Sophie, come save me. Now, what are some tips or anything you can share to those that are looking, the next generation that's looking to start traveling and being in your shoes? Is there anything that you can provide, women or men or female, doesn't matter, that you can provide to kind of make their ride or their journey easier?
I think it comes down to just like knowing why you start something, right? Right now, I just feel like we live in this like social media era. Like when we first learned how to cut hair, the only people that could watch was the people you worked with, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's all behind closed doors. You made your mistakes, not in public, right?
True.
So I think what's hard about the newer generation is that they're struggling with seeing Los at his level 20 while they're still like level 0. So they're like, why should I post this? Why should I do this? There's all these other people that are way better than me. And I think one of the things that I try to leave on the younger generation that are now coming in, or not even just younger generation, but people that are just starting out now, is to just not be so distracted by other people's journeys and learning how to really focus on what they're doing and why they're doing it. Because let's be real, not everybody wants to be a content creator. Not everybody's gonna want to be on camera. So it's just like, for me, I think being on video, that's the hardest route, but that's because you want to do something different, right? You want to challenge yourself. Maybe it's your personality trait, right? That you can do it, but not everybody wants that. And I think if people just kind of slow down and not focus on what other people are doing and what they're accomplishing and focusing on what means more to them, I think they can get more out of the industry than, frustrating themselves by thinking, well, if Los is doing this, I need to be here. Or you know what I mean? Like, I feel like people get stuck on that.
And you're right. Some people just want to make money. Some people just want to fill up their books. They don't care for the limelight.
Exactly.
So that makes a lot of sense. So with that being said, man, before we go any further, man, I got a gift for you. Well, actually, we got a gift for you.
gift?
A gift.
I'm shocked.
And because, you're Team Babelist, I can't give you a pair of clippers. Imagine if
I
I
got
just
it all.
if I just came and brought out a whole packet. Here, take your new Snap FX. You're just like, dude, I got like 30 of these at home.
No, because I saw the haul yesterday too, where the guy was like, "Hey, there was a table full of stuff," and you were like, "Hey, what's this?" You're like, "Oh, that's for Sophie."
Yeah.
And then it's just like,
I'm like, damn, all this?
And
But-
Los was like, "Let me get that one real quick."
Yeah, but no, you do need them for the project you're working on. So
Yes.
stay tuned. That's going to be amazing. I can't wait for you guys. Next year, 2023 is going to drop. But yeah, so this gift that I got for you is nothing major. You mentioned earlier that you didn't get to see the Barber Josh podcast, right? So, but I did say one of the questions that you guys asked me today, I did answer. I did talk about the GOAT logo. Do you remember?
Yes.
What did I say?
You
What does
said
it stand
it's not
for?
about being the best. It's just that you are willing to do everything that you can to elevate yourself.
Yes, to an extent, right? The true meaning behind my GOAT brand, for those of you guys that seen the podcast, if you didn't, I'm gonna repeat it again. So, for a few years now, people always commented the GOAT on my a lot of the work that I've done, and I take pride in that. I don't ever claim it. I don't walk around and say I'm the GOAT, because to me, I don't want to come off like I think I'm better than anyone. So when I finally took it in was when I had certain conversations with certain individuals that are really knowledgeable, and they were just like, dude, don't make it about you, just make it about who you are. So the GOAT itself symbolizes being the greatest you can be. So when you wear that, you're not wearing a Los Cut t-shirt, you're wearing a symbol that symbolizes, hey, you're the greatest person that you can be ever. You're the greatest ever. That's the goal behind that. So I wanted to gift you with a line of stuff that I have for you, with a little extra that, Danny and our team brought together for you, and we're gonna bring it up to you right now. And I want you to kind of just pick it out and just kind of show it to the camera and let me know what you think.
Wow.
A little something,
okay.
something slight. Ruben, we didn't have your size, but we got you some
let me
customs coming.
see.
Hey, no, hey.
You see it though?
Shout out.
Turn it around. You see it?
Oh, wow.
So I know you
Oh, shit.
I know you guys are opening
That's
up your new
crazy.
studio soon, and we
Dude.
wanted to gift you with a little something that you could just have there. And,
Thank you so much.
And the little beanies, so when you
Got
come
it,
out to the
beanies.
cold.
Got a black and white beanie. That's sick. Thank you. Thank you.
And then I got you a large, oversized shaka.
You already know. Is that what you asked me what my
had
t-shirt
to.
size was?
Because I was like, I can't get her small, I can't get her medium if she's wearing something that's bigger. So I asked and you got it.
Thank
But
you. I appreciate
That
that.
bottle is made by yours truly.
Thank
over
you
here.
so much. I appreciate it.
It took her 36 hours. She didn't sleep for 2 days, not playing. But it took her a long time, and she
No.
did it with a lot of love.
I appreciate the detail.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think it's pretty cool, right? It looks
Wow.
awesome.
Yes.
So
Thank
just
you.
a
Thank
little
you so
something, and I
much.
think you represent the brand, the GOAT, because you are the GOAT, and I feel like a lot of people will agree with me. Especially a lot of barbers that are girls they look up to you and truly, like, I've seen it. I've gone to shows with you and have had people burst into tears with you, like in front of you, all over the world, and it's insane because for the most part when I'm with you, they look at me, they don't know who I am, and they're like, can you hold this? Can you take this picture of me? And to me, I'm like, damn, that's dope. Like, I'm here, they don't know me, but they know you. They're crying. Does that still make you feel like? How does that really make you feel?
It's still very new. I don't think it's something I've ever gotten used to, because I think it's just you feel grateful for those opportunities. And anytime we do shows, especially when we go out of the country, it's like, I know it's a lot for people to make it to those events. So any opportunity I get to meet people, and I think the companies that I work with always see it, is like I give my full attention and time to anybody that comes to us at shows, because it's just like, I appreciate that a lot. Like, to know that you've impacted people by just being yourself and giving people, I guess, inspiration and motivation to pursue their dreams and find their voice, just because you've just led a life by example. Just, hey, I don't have to fit into a mold. This is who I want to be, and this is who I'm going to play for the rest, whether people care or not. I think it's just, a nice reminder that you don't need the right cards to start something. You just need to be willing to try it again and again and again until you find that new version of you, that next GOAT level, right? Because I think for all of us, our beginning journeys, it's tough. And I think that's just the way the universe works. It's like they're gonna put us into situations to see, okay, if I wanna be a barber, do I really wanna be a barber? Let's throw all these things at them and see if they can really outsense.
Let's throw them a baby. Let's throw them an older person. Yeah.
Think of content, right?
Yeah.
Content, for example, that's a challenge for a ton of barbers because, yeah, in most creative fields, we're saturated, whether it's videography, barbering, tattooing, right? There's so many of us. But the challenge is, how do you take what you're good at and be able to also know how to market it, to create it, to know what works and how to make it better, right? So I just think that we're given these tests because inside our minds and the frequency that we live off of is saying, this is what I want to do. We know what we want to try and achieve. So the world is just giving us these opportunities. Like, let's see if this person is really wanting this field to make it work. So I just feel like all those tests just kind of like push us to where we need to be, you know? So
That's legit. Has there ever been anything that you feel, and you know what? I'm asking a lot of things that I want to know personally, and I think it's cool if we dig deep in. Has there been anything that you ever felt in your career since I've known you that you felt like you dropped the ball on, or you missed an opportunity, or something happened where you kind of think back and you're like, man, if I would have moved differently, that would have happened, or this would have happened, that you can share with us?
well, I think I told you about this during our shoot today about the 2470 lens.
Yeah, can you share that?
Yeah, I can share that probably.
So why don't you break it down to exactly what that is?
Okay, so going into my videography field, and that, you know, stemmed off of barbering. I was on a shoot with Usher. So, I mean, this is a legit person. You can't drop the ball. I was new at it, but he liked what I did. So that gave me an edge and an opportunity to shoot for him. And so we were shooting at a production music studio, and you have to be at a certain length. You can't shoot up close. So at the time, I didn't have all the money to buy the gear that I needed. I'm still getting into it. So I don't know if I'm gonna spend, you know, all this money on whatever gear yet. I don't know. So as I'm there, I'm using probably my longest length was like an 85 millimeter.
Okay.
Next to me, I see these guys with these big cameras, big lenses. And I'm already sweating because their gear just looks
They look legit.
a lot more
Yeah.
professional. So I'm there shooting on my little tiny 85 prime. And I'm like, you know what? I'll just crop this in and it will be good, right? So I shoot it. I do what I got to do, and I try to finesse
Let me ask you this. Those other people, were they also working for Usher?
They work for the production house. So they're in-house.
Oh,
So they've been doing this.
Okay.
So I'm like, damn, this is my first experience. And so, I mean, their camera, they had their camera, 2 GoPros, and all this shit stacked on it. So I was like looking at it like, this is my little rinky dink, right? So we get to the point of being able to edit it out and whatever. And then he made a comment like, why do my photos not look like those guys? And so it kind of like put me in a place where I'm like, I failed. You know, I literally failed because he hired me, entrusted me to take those images and get him the best stuff. But these guys that are not part of the team,
In-house.
yeah, because as the artist, they're not gonna want to say that their people couldn't get their shots. So in that moment, I was like, this is embarrassing. But what could I do? Do I just give up and say, you know, it's not for me, or do I find a way to be better prepared for the next round? So I think that situation really prepared me to like, okay, I need to invest. I need to invest more into my gear, my craft, so that I'm prepared. And because of situations like that, you can put me in anything now, and I got it all.
Oh, dude,
yeah, I got it all.
Dude, she pulled up yesterday. She had a lens that was bigger than her, and then 3 people in the back. They were all carrying these, like,
Oh, my God.
these like for the NFL type cameras. Like, yeah, nah.
dude, I'm not gonna lie. I gotta give you credit, man. I own a lot of stuff. Obviously, you see the lights and all that, but you made me feel like how you felt that day today.
Yes. Yeah.
You made me feel today, and not in a bad way. Because one thing I'm not hating. I don't hate. What I do is you learn. I
Always
see Val with the monitor. She's like 20 feet away from what's going on, just away from it, so she could really truly experience what it looks like on TV. Your team, I mean, Aaron, the drone guy, R.I.P. drone. Sorry, Aaron, but your team, not just the equipment, even though the equipment was top notch, your production, your scripts, how organized you guys were really taught me a lesson today, because you could only get so far freeballing it. And thank God I've gotten this far freeballing it. You know, this podcast is a freeball because we worked all day and we finally just sat down. And I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. I got no questions, but me and you're cool. We'll figure it out. But I've learned from the smallest things of you actually writing out what you want me to say to putting me through torture with the teleprompter, right?
Teleprompter, yeah.
Killing me, making me read the writing as it's going up, and these are all lessons. Now, mind you, someone who's been in the biz, in front of behind cameras and interviews and all the things that we've done together, you think you have this level of confidence that you're like, oh, what's gonna make me crack? Come on, I do this. Until Sophie comes with like, yeah, just read this. Oh, is it too fast for you, Los? Let me slow it all the way down.
And then he's like this now. Now he's more focused. He's like,
No, before I had to do it, I told the team, I was like, oh, Los is one of the most adaptable guys. He got this. And so when you were struggling, I was literally crying on the side, just watching you like.
Is there BTS to this?
I'm going to put a bloopers for sure, and we're all going to watch it. It was just hilarious to see you just kind of go through it. But I mean, something that I've always appreciated about you is that you're always learning. And I think that's always a really important thing as a creator in general, is that you're not scared to try something to fail.
I'm not scared to fail, yeah.
And then you're willing to do it again.
Because I told her, I'm like, dude, next time she sees me, I'm going to be like an anchor. In today's news, and because, dude.
She's going to be reading in twist.
Dude, it was.
The speed is going to be faster next time.
Yeah. Now, I think what was hard for me at first was the fact that it was going up too quick, right? And then the second thing that was hard for me was the fact that it was on a phone, so the letters really were small. And I had no idea that the mirror that's mirroring the words, right behind it is a camera. So I had no idea what the camera was. So I'm like literally doing one of these, and the whole time that's how I look on camera. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't wait for the BTS.
and one thing that I do realize for those of you guys if you guys are thinking about going this route, you have to learn how to not just read what's being provided for you, but sound like you're not reading it.
Exactly.
So you can't be in there like, for today's day, we are, you can't. You have to read it and be like, so for today's day, and it's like, that just showed me a new level of what is.
There's definitely a skill in reading and presentation.
Oh my God. I told her, I was like, I'm going to get home today and just read a book, just a page a day or something, because I definitely needed that. It got to the point where I just started adding words that weren't even on there, and it didn't make any sense.
Yeah, so we're gonna be cutting today, and the you dig, and then the
so that you dig it out. But you definitely taught me something today. It was a dope experience. So thank you for that. Seriously,
Yeah, of course.
It really put me through hell inside, because if you know me, you know I hate failing.
Yeah.
But I do it because I learned from it.
Yeah.
Another thing that I wanted to talk to you about, and I'm sure a lot of people want to know, is when it comes to you, Sophie, being that social media today isn't what it was when you would tell me the story about like, oh, I used to just look at your photos, Los, and it was just all photos. What it is today, what is it that you personally look for when it comes to content? What makes you follow a person? What makes you unfollow a person? What turns you off? What inspires you?
I think it would be something that's captivating, right? Because think of how many things you see a day. Like, we're scrolling for hours sometimes if you really add it up. Like, I don't know what your screen time is per day. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
8 hours?
Average.
Okay.
I think we were in Italy. We were in Italy. We were comparing. Who had the most? Was it David, me, you?
David. Yeah, I was
Right.
actually like last.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but also maybe it's because we're out of the country, so it just didn't feel like the time zones were right.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think it's got to be creative first, right? Creative, or the information, or who it's coming from. Like, that's something I always look at, like, especially with like the algorithms, they change so much. So for me, before I even take on the advice, I got to see what they're about first. So for me, it's just a lot of researching. It's not so much of just scrolling and looking, but it's like if people give information, and right now I'm really into like all the business tips, because I just feel like my mindset is more there than it's ever been before, of just like how to grow myself, how to be in a better place, how to just, you know, elevate in every single way possible. So when I look into those type of content, the thing with it now is that there's so many experts in every area,
Right.
but you got to really research to find out, okay, is this legit? Is this the right kind of information? Because I think that's what's hard right now, is like you hear all these different things. You're like, which way is right? But
True,
you gotta
and you
figure it
gotta
out.
find who's real, because a lot of people are just repeating what they already heard. So I get it. Now, as far as visuals for work, what is it that you look for? Because I'm sure people are wondering, like, how can I get Sophie to follow me, or what can I do?
It's just, I mean, that's got to be organic, right? When we go to shows, that happens all. You get at least one person, hey, can you follow me back? And I'm like, I just like to keep it organic and natural, you know? Like if I come across your page and there's something cool on it, I would love to follow it, but I don't want to feel forced to follow something, right? I don't think anybody wants to.
No.
And when you tell somebody to do something, what most likely happens? You don't want to do it, right? So for me, it's just like, I don't know, just bring something different that I haven't seen yet. And that doesn't mean like you need a ton of followers, because sometimes creativeness, I don't think always reads in followers. It's just like what your intention is behind the content, right? If it means a lot, if you're sharing something that's inspirational or anything like that, I think that's more than enough to captivate somebody to want to follow. Like, so as long as it's like something different that I haven't seen that I can relate to in the time frame that my mind is, then yeah, I would definitely follow.
Sounds solid.
So yeah, no, I mean, look, tapping into what you're doing, you know, obviously I'm not nowhere near the hair industry, but you know, seeing what you do, seeing what you create, it's so cool. Do you have like your favorite content creator that doesn't necessarily have to be a barber, but somebody that just creates just a plethora of knowledge and puts it out there?
I really like a lot of like what I like to consume, like what type of content.
Yeah.
So the 3 people that I can give you off the top of my head are actually not in the barbering industry at all. Like Gary Vee, that's one person. I think he's really good at foreshadowing what's gonna be next. I feel like he's the reason I got on TikTok, right?
Wow.
He's like, if you don't get on it now, you're gonna be late.
I remember
right?
that.
And
And
I
I was like, who the
remember
hell?
I was like in the middle of being late. So I kind of got on right at the right time before it got harder, right?
Right.
Another guy, he's newer, but he's really good with like business advice and tips, is Alex Hormozy. He's a really good guy. And then third, I would say I'm really into listening to any Andy Frisella podcast.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, Andy Frisella is really good. And then another guy, Impact Theory. I don't know if you heard of that one,
never.
but he has really great guests. Ed Milet is another good one. So I like those type of podcasts and content because it's just giving me something different that I'm trying to grow in.
Right.
So I feel like you are going to grow where your attention goes, right? So if I'm trying to focus on business, I'm going to look for that outlet. I'm not going to waste time on just like things that don't support where I want to go. So I think that too, when you look for certain types of content, the algorithm pushes more of that into your life, right? So more of what you get is just simply because your focus is there.
No, I rock like that. So let me ask you this: TikTok or Instagram, and why?
Instagram, I'm probably more familiar with because I spent more time on it. TikTok didn't start till pandemic, pretty much, right? But I'm always, and I think you're like this too, is that we try to adapt. If you want to keep growing, you gotta pivot and adapt, right? So TikTok, I'm still trying to learn and figure out like what works for me on that platform, because there's no formula.
There isn't.
It's what works for that person, and that's what's challenging about it, because you can talk about it all you want, but everyone's source of like how they do it is going to be a little bit different.
TikTok is dope because you can just come across somebody has, like, you ever come across an actual video that has no likes, no plays, no comments, and you're just like, I could be that one. I could be the one that likes it first and comments it, and then they click on my page and they're like, damn, look at this cool barber. They're like, you can come across anyone. And I'm on the same boat as you. I don't know what hits for me. Like, I know what hits, and then I'll do something similar, and then it won't hit. And then I'll try something new, and that'll hit. And then I'll do it again, and it doesn't. I'm like, damn,
Right.
what's going on here? Like, I need to find this niche on there. But one thing that I've noticed that you're doing, that I'm doing now, is that I separate the two. I used to post everything.
Oh yeah, you have to keep it separate. That's something I've learned too. What works on Instagram does not work for TikTok. So TikTok, the good thing about that is it's less polished, and that for me is easier to pump out the content. With Instagram, I feel like I need to take more time because that's more of like my portfolio, my main page when somebody comes to see any of my stuff. But with TikTok, I'm like, oh, I can pump stuff out and not worry so much on my 9 post layer overview, right, and all that, because it could be random. You can have captions everywhere. It doesn't really make a difference. So I find that to be a little bit more fun and easygoing. So I do appreciate that because it takes the edge off of like something like Instagram, where you're like, okay, this is a little bit more polished. I can't just post and like something else. You know what I mean?
Now, that's exactly how I feel. I feel like TikTok is less stressful. With Instagram, like I feel like everything has to be right. The caption,
Exactly.
the way everything's framed out, because it is our portfolio, it is our work. Now, you mentioned your 3 top inspirational people on Instagram, people that you like to follow. But what I know from personally knowing you is that your girl Val is probably your biggest influencer, your biggest supporter. I've heard you talk about her, and it's crazy because as long as I've known you, probably close to 10 years, if not more, I've never met her, but I've heard so much. I feel like I knew her. So when we met today, I got to talk to her, and it was just, it felt so natural. Like we were at Starbucks chopping it up. I honestly felt like we could have been there all day and just talking ideas. And she gave me a lot of different perspectives in that short time that changed my way of seeing things. That I was just like, damn, imagine being around this all day,
All day, right?
all day. So I'm gonna let you introduce her. We brought her onto the show.
Special guest for today, the most creative, the most energetic person I know, Valerie Ramirez.
What up, Val? Are you shy?
A little.
Unexpected feature.
Let's get the mic a little closer to you if you don't mind. There you go.
I think in these settings, they make me a little nervous.
Yeah?
But yeah. Thank you for having me. It was,
Oh, of course, it's an honor on my end, honestly.
Yeah, no, it was so great meeting you and being anywhere in a place where Sophie feels so much love is like one of the greatest things to witness. And you are such a great friend to her. And all the people that we're surrounded by this week has just been a true blessing to be able to witness. She always comes back from her trips and tells me about those stories. And
Dope.
it's really cool to like be in the presence of everyone.
Likewise.
And see how loved she is, because that's how I feel about her. And so when I see other people receive her the same way, I don't know, I just love the love.
Does it make you appreciate her a little bit, just a little bit more, seeing people actually love her? Not that you don't already, but I'm just saying, like, it's always nice, like, when I see people, and I, like, for example, when I'm with Sophie sometimes and we go out in Italy or anywhere and people know her, not me, and they love her so much and they're crying in front of her, to me, I feel like, oh, I get to spend time I'm with this girl all the time, so it makes me value her presence more. Do you feel any type of way when you hear that or see that?
Yeah, I think it's a cool like way to see her be like viewed, and I see her like that definitely because I feel like when I met her, she was always kind of celebrated that way, and so my appreciation for how she responds to it is something that's really special because I think that she really spends time to let people know how invested she is in making sure they feel seen and heard, and I don't think those are qualities that everybody really prioritizes, and
Right.
so to see that be such a natural characteristic for her, it's just special, and I'm grateful to be able to witness it and have it in my life and have it in my surroundings, because I think it's a powerful kind of tune to live by.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. Now, I get an idea of what you do exactly based off everything I hear and see and watched on YouTube and all the competitions you've done. But if you want to kind of just quickly share with the world, what is your role? What is it that you do? I know, I understand you're truly successful in a lot of things you touched on, and she brags about you all the time. But I'm going to give you the opportunity to kind of just talk about that.
For sure. After talking to you a little bit today, I think we like kind of define the way we keep chasing things very similar, and it's hard for me to like stop and slow down sometimes and recognize the journey and all that I've gone through to be able to get to where I'm at. But it feels like it's constantly growing and pushing into different outlets and new mediums, and I'm grateful for where it's led me. Where I started, obviously, was with dance and competitive dance and professional dance. And I had a training and development center where we just built youth for, nearly 21 years. And
Wow.
so in our community, it was important to us to find, kids that were really kind of lost and needing something to attach to and needing a voice and needing, a place to call home. And for so many years, that's what the lab really served as, and really proud of the work that we were able to do as a community. It certainly wasn't only me. I'm like the biggest believer in team and understanding how powerful it is to work in units. But we were able to accomplish some really great things competitively with dance, and really, truly grateful for those moments. But over the last year and a half, we were able to pivot and kind of find ourselves in a probably more fitting space for where we're at today, and that's definitely in a probably more like professional setting. We used to train people to become professionals, and now we work directly with professionals. We have a creative space in the Arts District downtown LA, and it's still under construction, but we're hoping to be open by 2023. But nonetheless, it's a creative space for production. Sophie has a suite in there where she does a lot of her content creation for her barbering shoots and stuff. And we're excited to expand into new avenues. But for right now, we're really focusing on making sure we can push our production side and as well as our agency and management.
That is awesome. And I got some glimpse of the space, and sheesh. Like, I cannot wait to see. Are you guys planning on having a grand opening, or is it something that you're going to kind of do privately and just open up and carry on?
You know, we've talked about it. One of the challenges that we face with that is our last facility was 12,000 square feet, and it was so big and massive, and it was open to the public, and it was something that was like always 24/7. That's kind of how we got that little tag in our name. And we've really shifted into a lot of private work. And so we've really kind of gone back and forth with the idea. I think we'll probably do a small little welcome social, but it's something that, I don't know, having the privacy has been so wonderful, and it feels so personal to us that, I don't know, we just kind of like to do our thing. And
I can relate to that. When I opened up headquarters, the entire time I was building this place, the idea was, it's rented out to the public. I'm going to rent it out. It wasn't until I had my grand opening and my toilets got clogged.
Exactly.
People are chipping paint off my bar. My bathroom doors are messed up. And I just started seeing all this because it took me so much work, because I didn't hire a contracting team. I literally got my hands dirty because I wanted to. I hired people to do, but I was a part of it all.
Sure.
So I got to really experience the hard work in building this because I wanted to feel it, right?
Right.
After my grand opening with people that I love, people that love me, that support me, and for that to happen, imagine a bunch of strangers in here.
No, I feel you. I mean, that's what it was for 20 years for me. And I think you get to a place where it's like you want your things to stay nice. And especially we were around kids so much. So obviously it's a different setting too. And so now that, we've kind of moved away from that and we're in a new space, we're just kind of like, we've spent a lot of money getting it ready, and we've put a lot of money into the things that we want it to look like. And it's important and it's personal to us. So I think that there is like some reservations in just like launching it. And the truth is, it is a private creative space. So it's not open to the public anyways. So we're like, do we even need one?
No, maybe just close friends. It'd have to be like a super small group.
Yeah, no, of course. So let me ask you this, Soph. So how do you film your content now? With what you have, or you have a shop, you have another space?
That's just the main shop right now. So we, like, as we're coming here, we're just missing some mirrors. That's probably the last part of like my little suite area. But once we get that up and running, I'll be able to like shoot content there a lot more.
Dude, all right. So if you're anything like me, then I'm sure you already have 2023 planned out, an idea of how you're going to create content, an idea of how you plan on shifting something. Because one thing I've noticed is that we kind of think alike to an extent. We're always growing, we're always evolving. We always kind of look forward and see what's coming and how can we represent ourselves in that aspect. So can you share with the world what's to come for you 2023? Is there anything that's going to change as far as your content? Are we expecting more videography out of you, more photography, more haircuts, different haircuts, more touring? Talk to us.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely a hybrid. Like, there's something that me and Val really resonate together is that every year's got to be better than the last, right? We're always trying to grow in everything that we do. So a lot of next year is also me finally doing a course. I've been wanting to do it for a while. So this is something I've kind of talked about, I think.
Online?
Yeah. Online.
Okay.
A super in-depth online course is something that's like a personal project of mine because, as we travel, we know that people can't always go to all these places. So I want to be able to bring, high quality, especially with video production. I've gotten really good at it. So I'm like, I know how to shoot hair. I know how to make sure things are top notch as best as I can, how to deliver content to a very concise way that makes it easy for people to understand. So mixing barbering and my videography together, I feel like I can make a really great course that's not only that's going to fit anybody from a level 0 to where we are now. giving people different things on, how to brand themselves. Personal branding, I think, is a big thing for our industry. And then for a project that me and Val are doing with everything that we do at the lab is content strategy, right? This is an area that not necessarily we chose to do it, but it's something we do already that we're like, wait, we understand this. So like, how can we grow even this part of us to just be able to develop and strategize how brands can grow? So that's kind of a new area that we're trying to go into right now.
Once again, 2023. I plan on doing my academy, my online academy, and to kind of piggyback off what you're saying is the reason why is once it's recorded, it's there forever. So all you have to do now is add on it. So the more you add, the more valuable your course becomes, right? So if you capture everything from videography to cutting, once you record every detail of it, then you can expand. Now maybe you might want to add photography. You might want to add, hey, you want to be an educator? Let me show you how to present properly. These are all ideas that I have in mind for 2023. You said it. Not a lot of people can come to your class. So why not, hey, pay something or sign up or however, we'll bring the class to you. Val, is there anything you have coming up in 2023 that you're excited to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, we've been fortunate because we've been able to work with so many great artists and brands and collaborations and stuff. So I'm excited for some of the stuff that's launching in 2023. A lot of our work is confidential because of the contracts we're in and stuff. And so we can't really ever talk about them until they release. So I'm excited for some of the projects that have been in the works. And like Soph said, we've kind of gotten to a place where we've worked really hard to build a lot of knowledge in one area. And now we see it as something that we can add value for other brands or other companies. And it's exciting for us because it's challenged us to really put together formulas and theories that can work beyond the scope of what we do. And it's a different type of creative, and I truly believe that there's creativity in like every field. It's just the way you channel it. And I think having to stretch the way you create is something that keeps you progressive, and I think it keeps the idea of relevance always at the front of the focus.
Yeah.
And honestly, in today's fast-paced world, it's like you really do have to consider those things, even if they're not in line with what you really, really want to do. You have to find a way to fit in if you're going to make it a business. Now, some people don't, and that's the thing that a lot of people don't separate is you can have a creative outlet, or you can have a passion, or you can have something that you do for a living. If you want to create a company, if you want to create a business, you really have to understand the strategy behind it. And it took me a long time to really care about the numbers and to really focus on how to build and scale. But I promise you, if it's something that you want sustainability in, you have to consider it. It's not something that can be overlooked. And I think that's important to us this next year, is to also get into some investments for creatives. I'm really into real estate, and I'm really into kind of thinking long term, and I really want to help that way of thinking for our field. I feel like it's slightly just less considered, and I think it's because creatives, I don't know why, but sometimes I feel like creatives don't like to talk about money because they don't want that to define them, but a lot of creatives also want to be in business as a creative.
That's facts.
And so it's like whether you talk about it or not, it's still, a factor in your world, and it's going to make the difference for you and how long you can hang on to what you do love.
That is
so,
true.
It's something that's important to me, and it's been kind of on the table for a while this last year. We've just been kind of planting seeds and plotting how we want to approach it. It's been kind of mild and quiet, but I think it's been consistent on the back end. So I'm excited for the idea that we're going to kind of try to push the needle in a different way.
I'm excited to see what you guys got going on, because now that I finally get to meet you, I feel like we build a connection now that next time I go to LA and I see Sophie, I see you too. It's not just about, hey, I'm gonna go see Sophie. I get to see both of you guys.
Yeah, I feel that.
There's a good connection and good vibe, and I really appreciate you coming here. What you did for us, what you're doing for Soph, what you're doing in general is dope. It's very inspiring. Like I said, I heard everything. From the years, from the dance. What was that dance? That competition you guys won? I'm sorry, with
On the TV show.
World of Dance.
World of
the
Dance.
World of Dancing. I mean, from those days when it all started to now, and it's so cool. And I could see where Sophie, gets some of her light from. So with that being said, it's like, thank you for being here. Thank you for everything. For real, it really means a lot that I finally got to meet you, man. It's like officially meet you.
No, same. I know I've just heard your name for years, and I'm just very honored and grateful to be at this table, to be welcomed the way you have. And I appreciate your energy. I can absolutely understand why you're so successful. Just being around you for like 2 minutes, just watching you before I really actually got to talk to you, I was like, oh, I get it. And that's a really cool thing to just be able to like plug into. So I appreciate you. Thank you for everything too that you did for our whole team, because we looked at each other today when it was freezing cold and we are just like, damn, like their energy just makes everything feel better. Like these are the type of people we want to be around. So it was a really cool collaboration today, and I'm excited for the world to see it.
That is so awesome, dude. Thank you. So let me ask you this: were you excited that we finally got to meet and work together, all of us?
Yeah, absolutely. I want Val to meet everybody. Yeah, because I want people to see how amazing she is, because I know she acts a little humble sometimes, but a lot of my inspiration and push really comes from her just being able to like give me a different perspective that I don't always get from other people. So I think when you have these people in your corner that care about you, that are willing to challenge you and be honest, kind of like, us putting you to the test with like reading the teleprompter, like Val would give me the most honest feedback that would really help me kind of really grow into what I want to do. And I wouldn't be here if I didn't have her assistance and her wisdom and her experience to help push me. Because I think for us barbers, everybody knows we're just hard workers. We grind, we hustle, we can work 12 to 15-hour shifts, and it's not a big deal, right? And she was the first person to kind of give me business advice that I was like, wait, how am I going to scale myself? I only have a certain amount of time. Like, how could I grow from this if I'm maxed out 6 days a week and not even have enough time to like really like recover? She was the first person that kind of gave me that insight of like, well, look at your time. This is all the things that you have. Like, how do we make this make sense, right?
Right.
And because of her, I think I was able to kind of like tap into a different side of barbering that, not that it was easy, but it's just using your brain in a different way, right? And I don't own a business. She comes from owning a business for like what she say, like 20 years plus now.
That's insane.
That it's like there's just a different type of wisdom and knowledge that comes from that. And so even when dance, being involved in it, which was really cool because it's not something I do, but it's something I got to be around, being in that field. There was a lot of things that I could take away from other industries of like, how could I apply this to myself as a barber and, challenge myself in a way that can make me grow past what we think barbers cap off at, so
Right.
that's
So
what it is.
taking it back to the industry, and welcome back, Mr. Ruben Horchata.
What up, y'all?
I had to hit you with the Ruben. Taking it back to the industry, what do you feel like there's something that's lacking in the industry of hair alone, right? And what's your solution to that?
Lacking in hair, like as far as like physical or emotional?
I guess more since it's more about social media now, right? In general, I mean, we both been apart from barbershop, so when people ask me questions about like barber stuff, I tell them, hey, dude, I haven't been behind a chair at a barbershop for like 7 years. Things might have changed since the last time I was there. Like I might give you an answer and you might look at me confused because I'm not a part of that. I'm no longer that person. This is who I am. So I guess I'm bringing it towards like the social media aspect. When you're online, obviously Instagram is what made our hair industry blow up for both Cosmos and barbering. We've seen it grow over the years. Looking at it now, what do you feel people are missing? What do you feel like it's missing? What do you feel like people are lacking on? And what do you think? And I don't know if you know the term lacking, or maybe in Chicago slang, I don't know. Because I know I've said a couple things in LA. I was like, yo, I'm so hungry, I'm ready to smash. And somebody was like, smash? And I was like, yeah, smash. So like, you know what that means, right? And I'm like, well, what do you think it means? Because I'm hungry. I just want to eat. So you have to, terminology is different. So when we say lacking, it's like, what's missing? Or what are people messing up on? Or what's something that people can improve as far as our industry to make it better? What do you think? And what's the solution?
I think it's just documenting like your journey. I think people are so stuck on how do I make a really cool visual that looks like what everybody else is doing.
True.
And people are missing out on the opportunity to just share where they are. Whether that's the beginning, the middle, or the end, or whatever. I think it's important to be honest with where you are, because that's how you can grow from it. If you are just like ignoring all your flaws in that moment and you're just like, I'm here, what are the chances for you to really grow from that experience? You're just going to be living in something that's not real, right?
Right.
So I think when you can be honest and you can really document where you are, like some people that are in school. They're like, oh, I don't want to post because, you know,
I'm not at your level.
I'm not at your level, or my cuts aren't finished. Okay, the option is you post what you're gonna post and just say, hey, I'm really enjoying how I'm learning. Now you're literally preparing anybody that comes across your content. Hey, this person's still learning. So maybe it's a little bit easier on how people receive you rather than someone saying, hey, check out my fire fade, and then you don't know what level they're at, right? Now you're gonna get judged.
I know some people that are big names that'll post stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, the freshest fade you ever seen, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, there's some heavyweight lines
Right,
here.
exactly,
Like, oh, I don't
exactly.
know.
So see, I don't ever take that route. It's just like, for me, it's just all about the moment and like what it means to me in that process. And I think from doing that the whole way through, it's never felt so pressured for the other people to judge me, because it's like, I already know what you're gonna say. I already know where I'm at. So I'm gonna say that first, so that the people that are coming across the content can just appreciate it for like, oh, this person's still learning. Cause they're not gonna know your experience from like reading it. But if you're gonna say, hey, this is a fire ass cut, and then they look at it and Los is looking at it and he's like, yo, what the hell is all this? Now you've overexposed what you are. And now he's gonna think every time he sees that page again, he's like, oh, nah, I already seen this. I already know. You expose yourself too soon, right?
Facts.
That's the thing. So that's why it's like timing is so important, because you don't want that blow up before you're ready, right? Because what if you blow up on something that you're not good at?
Facts.
How do you go backwards, right? Do it in a way that makes sense to where you are. It's kind of like what we were talking about when we had that Starbucks talk, right? It's like, what is your plan for it when it happens? You're preparing this whole time for that opportunity to hit. But
That's
if you're
true.
trying to get that opportunity before you're prepared for it, you don't want to expose something that's too soon.
Facts. And to piggyback off what you were saying, for those of you guys that are wondering, we were having a conversation at Starbucks, and the conversation kind of shifted to me wanting to get verified. Trying to figure out a way to maybe hire a PR or somehow get exposed more. And Valerie straight up asked me, but why? And I'm like, what do you mean why? She's like, no, what's the plan? And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know. I guess I can build more leverage. And she's like, okay, then what? And I'm like, maybe people would take me more serious. And then she was like, okay, I get that, but then what? And then I'm like, damn, I ain't got no plan. And it's true. What if I get verified? What if I hire a PR and I do all that, and then what? I have nothing else. So it definitely shifted my perspective. I'm like, okay, let me make a plan, so in case that ever happens, I'll know how to move. So that's important to not just being verified. It's important for people. Like, hey, if you want to leave the chair because you think it's cool to have your own private suite, have a plan, because guess what? When you have your own private suite, there's no walk-in traffic. And if you're not already full on your own, you're going to be sitting on that chair by yourself. Did you ever get an opportunity to work at a suite? I know you worked at a shop, you did your thing for years, and then you left. What was it that you did exactly?
So I think the process came naturally. I never like started off and was just like, oh, I can't wait to get into a suite, right? I think suites are a little bit more on the newer side than it was for most barbers when they'd start. So as I got into the industry, it's like, obviously, I'm trying to cut as much as I can. And it was maybe 2012, right? I started social media. I started Instagram. I was like, I got to build a portfolio because I ain't going to get clients trying to look at somebody and be like, yo, trust me, come get a haircut. While I'm like next to like 9 other guys, they're going to be like, nah, I'll pass on the
Yo,
chick.
and props to you, because when you started, like, it was unheard of for girls to cut hair.
It was hard. It was like Lena Pacini was the first person I saw on Instagram.
Oh, shout out Lena
to
Pacini.
Shout
Oh
out to
my
Lena.
God, you took.
She was the first person I seen, so I was like, damn, that's tight. I want to do that. You know, like she inspired me. So, you know, shout out to her. And so I started off this journey of just like, you know, putting myself out there. And then as you move through it, I was like, okay, I'm starting to really enjoy content creating and posting my work. Because first it was for doing content to build a portfolio. And then over time, I was like, I actually like shooting pictures. I like shooting on cameras and all that stuff. So then it got to a place where I'm like, okay, I'm working 6 days a week, 8 to 12 hour shifts. I can barely make time for it. So how do I make time for it? Okay, let me strategize. How do I charge more so I can free up some time to shoot my content? So it wasn't going into a more of a private space, just happened by necessity for where I was at. So I was like, okay, I want to shoot content, but I need more time. So it went from 6 days a week to then 5 days a week. And I was like, okay, I have 2 days back to back to reset and then also shoot content. Because I would find people that were willing to sit for free. so that I can use it as a way to market my work, to shoot a video, to shoot photos without a time span. That way I can make it really nice. I can make sure it's clean, because at a regular shopping space, I mean, when you're in a busy shop, it depends on the structure of the shop. Everything runs differently. So depending on who you work for or where you work, it's gonna be different for everyone. So being able to move out of a shop space into a more of a creative space where I'm like, I can have my umbrellas and C-stands everywhere and it's not getting in anybody's way. And then also I've realized too that I like my one-on-one times. Like, I know we talked about this earlier. You're actually an introvert, right?
Yeah.
And so when we go to shows, you see a different version of us because we do it because, you know,
It's our job.
It's our job. It's part of what we do. So we know how to turn it on. But other than that, I'm way better in an intimate setting than I am in a crowd setting. But you learn how to adapt because of the environments that, you know, you're working in. So I enjoy that one-on-one time versus like, oh, let's just talk to like 10 people at a time. Like, I enjoy it. I had fun learning it in the beginning because it was always like a freaking party every time we were in
we
the
were
shop.
younger. We were so
Yeah,
young.
our recovery was way quicker,
way
right?
better.
So nowadays, it's just like, I gotta chill. My recovery time is a little slower. So
Yo, you guys gotta understand, we're like old people now. Like, we go to shows and it's strictly work. Whereas when we first started, it was like every night it was an after party for the event. We'd hang out, pull out all nighters, and then go back and just at 9 a.m. we're on stage, and we did it for 3 days in a row. Now it's more like, let's pick one night. Let's pick one night that we're gonna go out and have a late dinner and maybe have a couple of drinks, and then we're in bed. Or we could just be in a hotel and chill, and that alone to us is a vibe.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of introvert, a lot of people didn't know that, so you just said it, and I wanted to bring that up next. I am an introvert. I meet people all the time, and I've heard like, "Damn, Lowe's, like it looks like you're always out there, like you're always doing this, like you love being around people." And it's like, it's not that I hate being around people. I just prefer to be by myself most of the time. When I'm out there, it's because I'm working, I'm doing something, something's getting done. I'm either teaching, I'm at a show, I'm at an event, I have to be there. But if I had it up to me, there's a group of people that social media knows nothing about, that I spend most of my time with, and that's what I prefer. I'm not always hanging around with superstars or you and all, like, no, it's just, we all have our personal people. And today I got to meet your team. How many people would you say are in your team?
There's about, let's see, we got 3 of them here. Back home, we got 1 more, and that's it.
So yes, so solid
That's like
4.
that's like our main crew.
And you got a solid team.
Yeah.
Ruben, being a comedian, what are you? You like being around people? You're an introvert? I mean, talk to us.
I'm an extroverted introvert.
Oh, break that down for us.
So it's a similar what you guys are. You know, when I'm at the Flat Factory, it's 1,000 people. You know, I'm ready. I know I can look at everybody, I can perform everybody, make them laugh, da 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 da. And then afterwards, you still can't turn it off because I'm by the entrance thanking everybody for coming and talking to everybody, taking pictures.
Yeah, you take it a step further. I'm after the show, I'm like, all right, backstage.
Oh no. One day I'll get to there, so it's like, you know, I'll green room chilling, you know what I'm saying, type of thing. But like for now, it's like I never know who I'm gonna shake a hand with, you know. So that's how I'm always trying to put myself in a position to meet somebody new, thank people, get new fans. That, you know, down the line they'll buy a T-shirt, down the line they'll buy another ticket for another show, and so it's the same thing. But I love my alone time so much. My biggest thing that I do by myself, and people look at me weird, is I love going to the movies by myself.
Whoa.
I love going to everything. Black Panther this Thursday, 1 ticket by myself.
Is it Thursday?
Yes.
Buy 2 tickets. Buy 3. Buy whoever's down. Raise your hand. No,
Okay, 12 tickets for Wakanda Forever. But yeah.
What kind of?
No, so it's cool, man. And people are like, man, you're very, you know, you're good with people. You know how to talk to a large amount of people. You know how to talk to small groups of people. But at the end of the day, bro, I like being by myself. I like taking myself out to dinner, obviously, and and I like being in my own company. I love myself. I love myself so much that I can enjoy my own company. I love thinking about, okay, what's next? Because if I'm out, you know, with 20-some people with a crew, you know, when Cannon comes, we have security. It's very loud. You know what I'm saying? It's never the hotel chilling. That's it. Like, it's always just loud.
Yeah.
And we can never plan things. We can never situate things. Okay, bro, we got the concert tonight. What are we doing tomorrow morning since we already are in Arizona? What can we do? That we can't do that because
you live in the moment.
We're loud. So same thing on you guys, man. Like I can go big, but I love going small.
Oh, I hear you. I think what's crazy to me is that some of the most successful people I know in the industry and in general are introverts. But we
Crazy.
come off like the complete opposite. And people think
People
that.
are shocked when they hear it. I'm like, yeah, I used to not be able to ask for ketchup, at McDonald's.
Do you remember when we met Fluffy? Because I had asked him last week, and I'm like, "Who's your favorite like comedian all time?" He was like, "Fluffy," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, we went backstage in Chicago. We met him. Shout out to Rob the
Yep.
original. He's like that. You see him on stage. We saw his whole show. Funny guy, amazing energy. And then when we met him backstage, he was just like, "What's up, bro?" With little Chihuahua, like. Little Chihuahua. So that's when it really hit me. I'm like, damn, these people are just people. Like he's
Like
not.
us,
Yeah, he's not
yeah.
always like. I thought we were gonna meet him and he was just gonna make us laugh the whole time back there. Nah, he was
He was
just,
saving his last for stage.
yeah, he was chill. And I mean, A-Rod's another one, right? People see A-Rod on TV, and I get people that ask me all the time, "Yo, is A-Rod really like goofy and always like wilding out like in his videos?" I'm like, hell no, complete opposite. Not in a bad way. He's just a very chill dude. It's like I don't want to say it's a character, it's a personality, I guess you could say, or something that he gives out. Because even for me, I don't know how it is for you when we go on stage, when you go on stage, but when I go on stage, it's like a switch. It's weird because we'll be backstage 30 seconds out, and I'm just like, oh, dude, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna talk about. I don't even know what I'm gonna cut. I don't even know what I'm gonna do on this model. I'm a little nervous, hands are sweating, but as soon as they say, "Welcome to the stage, Los, cut it," it's like my alter ego kicks in. All of a sudden, I know exactly what to say, how to cut, how to move, how to control the crowd. I'm working. And when it's done, I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. And then I'm backstage, and that happens to me. That's how, I can't explain it. I guess the best way to do it, is my alter ego. Something inside of me takes over when those lights hit. Do you have that same thing, or is it you on stage always constantly trying to figure out, don't mess up, or don't do this, or don't do that?
I think it's a mix of both. When you have to go on stage and represent a company, for me, it's like, all right, what is my message that I got to deliver, right? It was one of the lessons that we even learned when we started with Babyless Pro together. Is like, if you can sell yourself, you can go anywhere in the world, right? That's something that's really stuck with me. So it's like, when I'm on stage, that's an uncomfortable place for me. So when I'm going on there, I'm like, I have to be good at this. Because if I'm insecure in the way I deliver a message, nobody's gonna listen, right?
Yeah.
And it's all about your delivery. It's the same way that when we approach a client and we're like, hey, you should get this, you should get that. If I was like, hey, so, I was like looking on this, and they're gonna be like, nah, I would get the regular.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you're trying to elevate yourself, you have to tap into a different version of you, a more confident version of you. And not that you have to like fake it to make it, right? But it's just like, if you really want your ability to grow in presentation, in anything you want to do, you have to be willing to do something you have never done yet, right? So for me, it's just like, how do I challenge myself? And every time I do stage, it's something new. It's a new crowd, new country, whatever the situation may be, there's something new about it that I'm like, okay, my goal is to make sure that I deliver something that fits that crowd. Because
Right.
that's the other part of being an educator. It's like,
Understanding your audience.
yeah, understanding your audience. You can't use the same format that you'd use in the US that you would use in another country.
Facts.
So there's a whole skill set in presentation that is constantly growing for me, that I'm trying to learn. So it's never the same. And I think that's what's fun about this journey is like you really can't plan for it, but the preparation of being so random gives you more things in your back pocket of how to execute, right?
That's
And
facts.
that's why it's like when you did the teleprompter thing, I'm like, yeah, I texted you before. I'm like, you ever done this? He's like, nah, I never done it. I'm like, great. Because he'll figure it out. The type of person that I know you are, you're going to figure it out. And you rehearsed a couple things over and over again until you got it right, until you nailed it. And then you're like, okay, now can we move on?
That was so
it's the same
stressful.
thing. Same thing that
So-
you could do there. We do everything, right?
So you're gonna be a news reporter soon, bro.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, I swear to God. No, knowing him, bro, he's very like prideful. So he's gonna.
Lowe's Burgundy, whatever. John Burgundy from the Anchorman. Is that what his name? John Burgundy. Yeah.
So just a good question before we, what I'm saying, wrap this up. I always want to ask both of you guys. I always want because knowing you guys are very embedded in your industry already. You guys are world renowned. Now imagine this: everything that you do, you don't do it. What would you be doing?
Ooh.
It would definitely be something still in the creative field, I feel. I would say it'd probably be in the realm of like videography and photography.
No videography, no photography.
What else I would do?
Outside of
Damn,
videography,
okay.
outside.
Oh.
That's a tough question.
Dancing, maybe?
I wish I could dance.
I've seen a couple TikToks.
I know I gotta get rid of those. That was like the pandemic version of testing stuff out, right? I try everything once. Shoot, that's a tough question, but I would say maybe because it's something I've struggled with. Maybe it is being a public speaker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because I feel like what things you struggle with are usually the path that you take because it's like maybe that journey was meant for you because it was so tough. So I feel like even through like doing hair and being able to overcome some of that fear, I can see where it helps. So maybe if it was just like specifically public speaking, I think that would be like the ultimate life challenge, but maybe that's where I would kind of go.
Even then, I can still see it in your future. So yeah, definitely. I've done public speaking. I went to Bradley University a couple of weeks ago, and a lot of these kids were interested in entertainment, and it was dope because this college fair wasn't even about forcing kids to get into education, just to meet people that were in specific fields. And a lot of us didn't have college degrees. I didn't need a college degree to be a comedian, but yeah, then again, a lot of they had the areas with business. Okay, entrepreneurs, they had that area, cool. But then they was like, okay, I want to know how to be an actor. Okay, cool. We had actors there that told the kids, okay, this is where my steps. Some of these people didn't go to acting school. So then again, if you want to dabble in the public speaking, I think you'd be amazing at it. So
I feel like we already kind of do that to an extent. When we talk to an audience, we're not just talking about what we're doing. We're sharing experiences to relate to these people. Like, how did I overcome this struggle? Like, I used to struggle with tapers. How did I overcome it? Let me show you. So in a way, public speaking is the same thing, right? How did I overcome a certain struggle? How can I change your perspective on things? And that's our goal. Back to what Dennis taught us is you have to sell yourself. If you sell yourself, you can go anywhere you want in the world. And luckily, we've proven that fact. It's been a hell of a ride. I'm excited to see what's coming up. But for now, Soph, I just want to thank you for being here. It's been a long day, and we are hungry. We're ready to go eat. But first and foremost, I just wanted to just share my gratitude of having you here, man. It's an honor, and I do plan on doing a season 2, different setup, soon. And I would love to have you back in the near future to really bring a prepared episode, like something where we can get the crowd involved, the audience involved with questions that they want to share with you. Because I know you have a lot of knowledge and a lot of information, more than I can get out of you today. And I think people would love to see you again. So with that being said, is there anything that you want to share with the rest of the world that you feel that can bring value or just lift people's spirits up that are probably going through things in their career, in any career? The stage is yours.
I would say in the simplest form, because, we're always trying to move towards a goal, is anytime you feel frustrated that you can't do something, the only answer is to take action, right? Ooh. You take action towards anything, you're going to move a step closer to your goals. But us trying to think about it and plan it in our heads of how we're going to do this right is taking you further away from the chance of getting closer to what you want to do. So anytime in doubt, take action.
That's facts.
Yeah.
Barber Josh said that. He's like, a lot of people dream. People dream in their bed all the time, but it's who takes action that actually makes something happen.
Say you take a step and it's in the wrong direction. At least now you took it, and now you can cross that off your list and go another way.
You get it. You could pivot, move around.
Exactly.
So, dude, thank you, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you guys a lot.
Of course. Ruben, thank you. Thank you for being here.
Oh, as always, guys, man.
Thank you, guys. But hey, guys, this is episode 11. Sophie StayGold from LA. Make sure you guys check her out, follow her. Let the people know where they can find you.
Pretty easy. Everything is StayGold31 across all my platforms, the podcast, the Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, everything. So
real quick, I'm sure there's somebody out there that wants to know how and why StayGold31.
This was a tattoo, actually, that I got on my knuckles right before I made an Instagram account. So it was a fresh phrase in my mind. I was like, okay, I have 4 fingers that I can do on each hand. Let's not do thug life. Let's not do fuck love. What means a lot to me? And at the time, I was like, I like Stay Gold. It's, be true to yourself, be grounded in who you are, never change for anybody else. So I like the meaning. So I was like, I'll do that. But Stay Gold wasn't available by itself. So 31 comes from my birthday number. May 31st. So that is how I got my name.
Gemini.
Gemini.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Sophie. You ready to go eat?
I'm so ready.
Guys,
I'm so ready.
thank you so much. Tune in. Episode 10, 11?
11.
Episode 11, Sophie Stay Gold. Here we go. Let's go.
Final thoughts, man, it was an honor to be here on the Low Cut It podcast. It's been something I remember talking to him about in the beginning before he even did it. So to finally be on here at episode 11 felt really special to me. And shout out to the team because we had a crazy ass day. I gotta give a shout out because the teamwork behind anything is one of the most valuable things you can find as you move into any business. So thank you to everybody here today that helped us out along the way. It doesn't go unnoticed.